Okay, the runners are off. Right off the bat, you are seeing two different versions. We have Lachurs playing on the original Wii U version, and Jack Speedruns playing on the deluxe version. And you can tell because both versions have different UI. If you paid attention to that on the world map, as you see, the UI on the deluxe version has more solid colors than the deluxe version. Now, gameplay-wise, both versions are relatively the same. The unfortunate thing is that Jack has approximately a 33 or 38 second deficit due to slower load times. So 1-1's very standard. They both get the acorn suit. Oh, whoa! That was a little hiccup there on Lachurs' end. That's okay. That's only early on. Can definitely be made up later on in the run here. Okay, we got a 76 here. Uh-oh, that was a little sketchy on Jack's end right there. It looked like he was about to go inside that pipe right there, which that pipe would take him to the normal exit, which would be very, very unfortunate. We don't want to see anybody doing levels twice in this run. That would be very bad. So both runners are through 1-2. 1-2 is one of the harder levels to do. For a second level to run, it is very difficult to do optimally. But now they are off to 1-Secret, and 1-Secret is the first level where they're going to be playing as Nabbits. As you can see, Jack is manually switching to Nabbits because he is on Deluxe, because you can't do what Lachurs just did, where he just holds a certain button on the controller to temporarily play as Nabbits. He has to manually switch to Nabbit here in the Deluxe version. However, with Nabbit in 1-Secret in the Deluxe version, you can actually, as you can see, Jack is swimming really fast. And so you can actually, this saves about 6 to 7 seconds over the way Lachurs did 1-Secret. So now both runners are now through World 1 already. Lachurs with a small lead, but keep in mind that Jack is playing on the Deluxe version, and one of the things that our tournament community has agreed on is that Deluxe runners will have approximately 33-second deficits. So if Lachurs wins by at least 33 seconds or more, then he takes the win over Jack. Now here's another advantage for Deluxe. As you can see, Jack does not go through that Miiverse text prompt that Lachurs had to go through. So that already saves about, I want to say about 6 to 8 seconds. I don't remember. I timed it recently, but I already forgot. Okay, so very recently there's been a new strat, probably the biggest strat that's been found in a very, very long time for 90%. As you can see, if you hold neutral off of these vines here, then you gain a lot of speed. And if you do this very optimally, then you should save about 3 seconds in this level. It's very huge. It definitely opened up a ton of time saves for this and pretty much every category that has swinging vines. And it doesn't look like Jack went for it, or at least maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't gain much of a boost from those vines. but Lachurs got a significant amount of speed from those vines there. All right, so as you can see, it looks like Jack has pulled ahead, and that's because if in the deluxe version, if you play as Nabbit, then the Nabbit cutscene does not play at all. And that's just due to the fact that the game does not want two Nabbits on screen at the same time. There's only one Nabbit. And so this is a free 30-second time save for Jack right here. But Jack still has to hold on to that lead. As keep in mind, this is we're seeing two different versions here, and Lachurs has to win by at least 33 seconds in order to claim victory over Jack. So both runners are going to 5-3. If you're playing as Nabbit, then 5-3 is the optimal level to do in this game, is it saves about half a second over 5-2. So here is the first really, really difficult level. Jack is not going for the infamous 5-tower skip, where you, with precise acorn movements, you can fly up to the top of the tower. And Lachurs is going for it's not a new strat, but it is something that's been recently been put into runs, where you fly up using the left climb, the left side climbing method, and it saves about a second over the right side, the standard tower skip method. And this saves the skip overall saves about 30 seconds. And of course, Jack has mentioned that it is a very risky strat, which, you know, it is risky, but it is significant enough for it to be worth it. So Lachurs gained his lead back due to Jack not going for tower skip. It is definitely one of those things where you have to be very confident in doing. Ooh. Did not gain enough height in order to... It's either he didn't gain enough height or just jumped just a little bit too late and it got knocked out of the first hit for Boom Boom on Jack's end. But there we go. Both runners are out of 5 tower. The first major roadblock that you can see runners get walled by when grinding out PB attempts. But now here we are into 5 Ghosts. 5 Ghosts has a star that Lachurs is going to be getting halfway into the level, and getting the star will save 1 second over just going through the level without a star. Supposedly, the game wants you to use the acorn suit in order to fly across that really large gap, but if you have... But you can do, but with a very precise jump, or with just a star jump, then you can make it across that large gap. Jack is doing some safe movement in order to ensure he does not fall off any of these platforms. And now we're up to 5-secret. So there's not really anything that we can talk about for 5 secret. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the runners for a bit here. So as I mentioned before, Lachurs is the current world record holder of the game. He has been running this game since near the end of 2017, so about almost 3 years. So he's definitely, and his improvement's has been pretty massive. And Jack is one of the newer runners in the community who got into running NSLE Deluxe very recently. Lachurs is also one of those runners where he can have a day where he just pops off, and then some other days, some things may not necessarily go in his favor all the way. So he's definitely one of those momentum-based runners, and Lachurs gets a 35. Now, if you time that flagpole grab just right, then you can get a 36. But unfortunately, Lachurs is going to. It's a community joke, but his run is invalidated, and Jack wins. Everyone pack up and let's go home. Alright, so Lachurs is a pretty commanding lead, and I definitely would not be surprised if he decides to go for something that I think he might go for. Alright, he's not going for it. So, if you really want to save time, then you can play as Nabbit here in 7-1, and you save a full second if you can do it. But it's extremely risky because Nabbit does not use power-ups. And so if you make a mistake in 7-1 as Nabbit, then you're most likely dead. So Lachurs is instead doing the standard approach, and that is to do 7-1 as Luigi. Which on its own is still very difficult. The very last part that he made through just cleanly, there's a 2-frame window to make that very last jump. Otherwise, you are going to run into some trouble. It looks like Jack is going to be playing as Nabbit. Now, this is something that I wasn't expecting right here. Okay, so he is safing it out here. So this is the way that 7-1 is intended to be played. It's to be played, and that is you use these ice bros to shoot these fuzzies, so that you can ride across the whole level. So Lachurs through 7-2, very straightforward level, and then now we have 7-Tower, which is kind of difficult to go through, followed by probably the second hardest boss in the game. Not because it's hard, but if things go haywire, it will go haywire. Alright, so we'll see how this goes. So Jack switching back to Luigi for 7-Tower. Oh, Lachurs getting hit there. That means that this fight is going to go not according to plan here. So this is now going to be completely random here. Okay, struggling a bit to get the second hit. And now normally the third hit is really consistent, but because he does not have the acorn, this is going to be a very tough situation that Lachurs has put himself in here. He still maintains his lead. Jack also losing acorn in 7-Tower. Unfortunately, both runners are going to have to deal with a lot of randomness here in the tower. Okay, grabs the safety mushroom in case something were to happen. Now for Lachurs, he can do 7 Ghost as Luigi in order to get his acorn back, which is I mean, at this point, that's pretty much his only backup right now, or for now, or at least his only like easy backup. But this is convenient because the fastest time you get out of 7 ghosts is in 88, which means fireworks. And oh, loses Acorn. Okay, so that means that he's gonna have to do 7 ghosts or 7 castle without an Acorn, which isn't the most difficult thing. But it does mean that he is not going to be able to do the fast strat in against Ludwig, but he does wait stalls at the very end of the level in order to get a backup Acorn. If you end the level with a 77, then you'll get an Acorn at the end of the level, and that is what Lachurs decided to do. So that way he does not lose time in for the rest of the run. So this is a 15-second loss, but he's still maintaining his lead. Jack, unfortunately, is going to have to also get his Acorn back. But he made it out of Kamek just fine. It's just unfortunate for both runners for 7 Tower to not go the way that they planned it to go. It looks like he's switching to Nabbit. Okay, very interesting decision for Jack. But I would have to assume that Jack does know what he's doing here. Yeah, so as Nabbit, this ghost house is fairly consistent, using the setup that Jack just did. And now there's a pretty hard strat that Lachurs is going for. Okay, nice, gets it. So there's another method of doing that where you can cut that fire bar cycle at the very end very tight. And messing up does mean you lose your Acorn, and you don't. And this is a level where you don't want to lose your Acorn. Otherwise, then you cannot do the fast strat for the fight. And now we have Ludwig coming up. So Ludwig has an attack phase that we skip because we fly up to Ludwig and because we cheat. And there we go. And then the rest of it is just timing. And there we go. Okay, Jack is gonna wait right here in order for this block to pass. This level is a level where you can slow down if you want because you have to wait for those huge blocks to pass on by. Alright, next up is 7-Dash Airship, which features a very difficult skip in order to get past the first part of the level. But I'm sure Lachurs is feeling very comfortable about his lead right now. So even if something were to go wrong here, he will still maintain his lead. Alright, and he gets it. Okay, and then this part right here you cannot skip. Nice Ludwig fight for Jack. Acornless Ludwig fight. And now Lachurs is fighting Bowser Jr. Now the Bowser Jr. fight is going to look easy, but it's a lot harder than it looks. Because Bowser Jr. does not have a very favorable hitbox at all. So you have to hit Bowser Jr. at the very center, and if you are just a little bit too far to the left or right, then you will get knocked out of Bowser Jr. You'll get knocked out hitting Bowser Jr. And it's a very frustrating mistake to make. Because if something were to go wrong in the fight, then the fight becomes very random. More random than Kamek. And if you die, then you lose a lot of time. Something interesting about this game compared to the other NSMB games is that because the levels are very short, there are absolutely no checkpoints in any level whatsoever. Okay, Jack loses his power up there. He's not going to be able to get an acorn in this first part of the airship, unfortunately, but he can get another one right before the fight. Now, you can still do the skip here. Oh, this looks scary. Jack! Oh, no, that is a death here. Deaths are very common in 7 Airship. It's a very difficult level to do, especially when you're coming near the end of the level. But yeah, like I was saying, the skip is still possible to do as without Acorn, but it's extremely hard to do and very risky. All right, 8-1. Another RNG level with only a difference of a second. As Nabbit, as Luigi, it is a difference of 2 seconds. Okay, so Lachurs gets good RNG right there. And he gets a secret exit of 8-1, so he can access 8-4. Now 8-4, the raining fireballs are not random. Instead, they are cycle-based. So we'll see how this goes for him here. The interesting thing about the cycles is if you play this level too fast, then you'll be ahead of the cycle that you would die. So it's very specific. There's a few bonks there, but he made it out of 8-4 cleanly. If you normally, depending on how you mess up 8-4, then the level could go really bad. Oh, this is really scary for Jack here. Oh, that's very unfortunate for Jack there. So, fortunately, there's not going to be any more acorns for World 8. So, he can either play out the rest of World 8 and get a 77 on one of the levels prior to the final level, if he wants to get his acorn back, or just play through the rest of the run. Okay, nice elevator skip for Lachurs. Alright. So it is looking like Lachurs is going to be on a 27 pace, which is not bad. The best time that we've seen in a tournament, I believe, is a 28 by DCA. So Lachurs definitely setting the bar somewhat high here for all the participants here in the tourney. But keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first game out of the best of 3 matchups. Navadra got a 27. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. I know I've been putting together this tournament, but I definitely have not been around for, especially the weekend matchups. I have not been around to catch those races. That was extremely scary for Jack right there. Wow. And Jack doesn't get the best RNG. Alright, so coming up is the Bowser fight for Lachurs. Since he has the acorn, he's going to go for what's known as Fireball Skip. So if you fly up, the moment Bowser shoots his first fireball, then his second fireball will not shoot out at all, which saves 2 seconds. And then on top of that, Bowser Jr. will start coming down early. And then the idea is he wants to be able to keep the clown car throughout the whole fight and not let Bowser Jr. get to the clown car at all. Now, if something were to go wrong, Bowser Jr. can either beat you to the clown car, or Bowser can knock you out of the clown car, because Bowser jumps really high when he has a shell. So, very nice job. He's able to keep the... sometimes Bowser Jr. can just knock you right off like that. But, this is looking really good. And with this, Lachurs clocks in with a 27:18, but a 27:18 on racetime.gg. So, very solid first game there for Lachurs out of a best of 3. So meanwhile, Jack, not going to be able to do elevator skip here because he is playing as Nabbit. But he makes it through both rooms fine. He did have to take it safe there. When you're riding on the elevator, you don't want to have any entity on the elevator whatsoever, which is why you saw that he was camping out on the left side, just so that none of the bombs will land on the elevator whatsoever. Yeah, so you have to wait right there. If you don't have an acorn, you have to wait right there for the first platform to go up, so that way you can progress through. That was very interesting, Jack. But he's gonna make it no problem. So the way that first room would go, if you have the acorn, is it's always the same as long as you move exactly the same. And then the fireballs are always the same as well. Keeps getting hit by the fireballs though. Okay. And because with the physics in this game, you jump so high that a simple jump can get over Bowser. It's a pretty good game design. That's the power of Luigi physics in New Super Luigi U. Alright, let's see this for Jack here. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to do the fireball skip without Acorn. Okay. Oh, he has to watch out here. Oh! Gets knocked out. That's fine, he can still save this. Ooh. That was a little interesting. Oh, didn't quite get there fast enough. But as Nabbits, you can't die in the Bowser fight. All right, Jack with a 32. But it looks like he has not hit the finish button on racetime.gg. So he's gonna have a pretty high time on the racetime site, but it's not gonna matter as Lachurs is already finished. Okay, so he hit done at 34:01. And then now we're going to move on to the next race. Now, there is an unwritten rule where you can take a short break in between your races. You know, when all the races here are best of 3, then, you know, doing multiple runs back to back can be exhausting, so it is important that you take short breaks every once in a while in order to clear up your mind during these races. It's true, though. You don't want to physically exhaust yourself when you're doing multiple runs back to back, especially when you're approaching the grand finals. You know, very early to speak for that, but a little heads up for the people watching the tournament: the grand finals, which is going to be top 2. In a double elimination, is going to be best of 5, which means that if races get very interesting, then the top 2 players are going to have to do 5 races against each other in order to determine champion. And that alone is very, very, very exhausting. So Jack is going through the intro right now so that he can get to the map. All right, the runners are ready. The timer has started, and hopefully the runners have started as well.
Here we go.
Okay, runners have started. We have everyone's favorite level 1-1. Once again, the runners are getting their acorn here. Oh. Okay, so that is a very rare mistake to make in 1-1.
Oh.
So sometimes, I don't actually know what would happen, but this rarely happens. Where sometimes if you slide on that waddle wing, then you will die, and then you just lose like 40 seconds right off the bat. So that is an unfortunate start for Jack here, and especially going up to somebody like Lachurs. That's really going to be a lot that he has to work for.
Made it. Ha! Here we go.
So this time Lachurs having a cleaner 1-2 than in game 1. Ooh. Jack nudging the corner there. So something I did not mention in game one, because everything was going by going by really fast, is that second star they both get only contains a star if you hit it while you have a star.
Oh, secret. Ha!
So it looks like Lachurs has gotten his round one nerves out of the way, as you know this is one of the fortunate things about best of three matchups. Is if your first run did not go very well, then you can make it up by doing the next race, and then you'll have a better run as opposed to some other tournaments where you only have one chance to beat your opponent, and then if you make a mistake, then you pretty much have to deal with it for the entire run. So both runners are now through 1-Secret and through World 1, and then they're off to World 5. And once again, we're going to see this really amazing strat that saves a hefty lot of time. Some people may argue that 3 seconds is not a lot, but that is very huge for a category like this, where everything this category has got to the point where everything matters. And normally in any percent categories in Mario games, finding a strat that saves 3 seconds is very rare. Oh yeah, that is very good.
Ha!
So Jack is not going for the momentum strat from the vines. Definitely don't blame him though, because if you're not used to it, if you're not very well practiced at the momentum boost, then it can be very hard and very risky. Jack is playing on the deluxe version, which has significantly slower loads by a couple seconds at a time per black screen load and level transition load, which over the course, which from loads alone is a minute. But there's also things in deluxe that has been improved on the original, such as no Miiverse, and if you are playing as Nabbit, then you don't see the Nabbit cutscene. Okay, Jack hugging the block a little bit there. Lachurs. I'm gonna call him that from now on. We have community jokes where, there's one community joke where, one of the IL runs, someone mentioned, this is a little scary. Okay, hold on. I'll go back to that thought a little bit later. as soon as Lachurs finds a way to recover out of this. Yeah, so Lachurs waited right there before trying again. Otherwise, the ball and chain cycle would not be at a point where he could make it. He can make it without getting hit there. And once again, Jack not going for the 5 tower skip. Very much sticking to his guns, which is, you know, in a race setting, it's not a bad idea to just only stick with what you know how to do. But when you're up against someone like Lachurs, that is definitely a lot of pressure. Okay, but anyway, there used to be a running joke where one of the individual level runs, the runner called Lachurs Lachurs, and so every once in a while we would jokingly call him Lachurs, and Lachurs and I, when Lachurs showed me the video, we both had a good laugh at it. So one small thing Lachurs did was, as soon as he hit the star block, he hit the block underneath that would allow you to hit that star block and then wall jump off of that block in order to gain a little bit of a speed boost to save a little bit extra time in the ghost house. It's one of those things where if you're really trying to save as much time as you can in any percent, that is something that you want to do. As you can see with Jack, he waited for the star to go to him, which meant that he needed to have a running start in order to get that star. I'm really disappointed with Lachurs not going for any of the star coins. Alright, is he gonna validate his run this time? No, he is not. I am very disappointed. Let's see if Jack will make me proud. He is not. Man. Alright, so Lachurs has more of a lead than he had in the last race. So once again, he is going for 7-1 as Luigi in order to not take that risk. Again, 7-1 as Nabbit does save a second if you can do it. But making a mistake as Nabbit will most likely result in a death. And messing up the very last jump this time around, that was really scary right there, but makes it through just fine. Oh, did Jack get a 36? Oh, wow. So that means Jack wins right there. Time to move on to game 3.
Let's go.
Okay, so again, Jack playing a 7-1 Nabbit, but is doing a very safe variation of it. Something to note is that doing 7-1 the way that Jack is doing right now is a little bit easier in the deluxe version because in the deluxe version, Nabbit does not have any ice physics at all. In fact, Nabbit is less slippery than Luigi in deluxe altogether. Because essentially, Nabbit's supposed to be easiest mode, or actually I think it's called easier mode in this game. Whereas if you play as Toadette, which is the character added in Deluxe, it's easy mode. Looks like Jack has installed a new game onto a Switch. I don't even know what that game is. It looked like Just Dance from over here. It could be something else. Alright, so let's see how Kamek goes this time. Ooh! Now this is hot. Misses the third hit. I don't know how anyone who would do that. But he makes a nice recovery there after that misfortune. Fortnite! Oh, okay, okay. I see. Alright, so this time Jack is playing as Nabbit for 7 Tower to ensure that he's not going to lose his Acorn. But unfortunately, that does mean that he will not be able to do the quick kill for Kamek unless he gets extremely lucky. But that's very, very hard to do. But that's also unfortunate because running against somebody who got perfect Kamek luck, well, quote-unquote perfect luck on Kamek, is very hard. Okay, so that's the first hit for Jack. Yeah, so there's a way where without Acorn you can do some precise mid-air stalls in order to keep yourself in the air. And depending on where Kamek spawns, then you could potentially get a quick kill that way without an Acorn, but that's extremely difficult to do, and you have to be extremely lucky. So it would be very ridiculous for someone to do that, especially in a category where you, let's say, you either don't have an Acorn at all, or you play as Nabbit only. Okay, so clean 7 castle for Lachurs. Lachurs is definitely, he's definitely playing better on this round, on the second game than how first game went. Now Jack is also not playing bad either. Like I said, Jack is one of the newer runners, so of course, like his execution isn't as refined. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that in this set he's just not able to keep up. He's just not able to keep up with Lachurs. Of course, it's not over yet. There is still World 8. World 8 can still go wrong if something were to happen. But I am pointing out that Jack is not playing bad. The fortunate thing for Jack is that he will have a second chance in the second chance bracket to redeem himself. As this is a double elimination tournament. Okay, Jack makes it through 7 Castle, and Lachurs is now approaching Bowser Jr. There's a couple ways of fighting Bowser Jr. You saw one way right there, where he just flies up to Bowser Jr. all 3 times. And it doesn't really matter as long as you get all 3 hits in the most optimal way possible. Okay, Jack defeats Ludwig. Yeah, so right now Jack is an entire level behind, but he's definitely playing better than his first game. As you can see, he's kept his acorn now, so he's able to do some faster strats later on compared to how his first game went. So he's definitely going to have a significantly better time than in game 1. Meanwhile, Lachurs moving on to World 8. Ooh, Jack taking a bonk there on that first block. Okay, safing it out here on the skip. Typically, as long as you get the skip, you're still saving time than just riding the whole cloud through. Okay, yeah, he's taking everything really safe here. Okay, nice. That still saved a lot of time than riding the whole cloud through. Okay, this time Lachurs is 2 for 2 on good 8-1 RNG. The madman. All right, and we'll see how Bowser Jr. goes for JackSR. Gets the first hit. Gets the second hit. Oh, this is looking good. And gets the last hit. Very nice for Jack. Ooh, whoa, hey buddy. Almost went inside the extra area that nobody knows about in 8-4. So, thankfully he recovered just fine there.
Made it.
Like I said, if something were to go wrong in 8-4, it will go wrong. Unless you know how to back things up, and that is exactly what Lachurs did there.
Let's go.
But now we have round 2 of elevator skip. So something in order for him to move the elevator, he is tilting his controller, as this game does run off of motion controls. He is tilting his gamepad sideways in order to move the elevator here. And there we go, gets both elevator skips just fine.
Made it.
Okay, so Lachurs is looking at a 26-2x pace, which is going to solidify him as currently the best time of the tourney if he can pull through at this very last level. And getting a 26-2x is very solid for a no reset run. So it's really going to set the bar high for everybody in the tourney. Yeah, so Lachurs is not going for the strat where you grab onto the right side of Bowser Jr. And that could save a second over what Lachurs just did there, but it is extremely risky, so I don't blame him for not doing it.
Yes, I'm a winner.
Okay, Jack's switching back to Luigi in order to do 8-4. It makes sense because 8-4 is a vertical climbing level, and the acorn benefits very heavily for vertical climbing levels. See how this goes for him. Okay, taking that safe right there in order to ensure he does not get hit. Oh, but does get hit anyway. That's very unfortunate. So we'll see how this goes for him. Unfortunately, he's not going to have an acorn for. Yeah, I would have said that he could get fireworks here in 8-4, but he's too slow to get an acorn for 8 Castle and 8 Castle 2. But now here we are, round 2 for Bowser. Let's see how this goes for Lachurs. Gets the fireball skip. Bowser does a jump this time. Okay, catches on. Grabs the clown car. Okay, that is number 2. And this should be a 3x if nothing crazy happens, which is an extremely good race time. And Lachurs gets a 29. Very, very solid. And with that, Lachurs takes the set, and he will be moving on to his next race in round 3. Let's see if I can get Lachurs in the voice call for a post-race interview. Oh, Lachurs taking a death there. Or, I mean, not Lachurs, Jack taking a death there. What's up, Lachurs? How are you feeling about that run?
Can you spot the crazy mate in 47?
I don't know what that means.
Nice.
All right, but how are you feeling about the set?
It was easy.
It was easy. Okay. How did you feel? Especially, what was going through you with how game 1 went? I know you.
Well, my blood was going through me. I mean, that for the entirety of the 2 races, I was talking about chess with some friends. So.
Oh, okay.
The fact that I made such big mistakes is probably down to the fact that I wasn't focusing very well.
Oh, okay. But congrats on taking the set here. How are you going to prepare up for your next matchup, which is between Super 64 guy and or Frisky?
I might just sleep.
Sleep for a whole week or 2?
Yeah, sleep for a week. I wish. I wish. Race time GG starts my timer like 2 seconds early.
Oh,
So
does it? Oh.
every time, both the times I got it like 2 seconds faster than they actually are.
Oh. But that's still a 29, right? Or is that 31?
No, it's a 27.
Oh.
Because
okay.
it started 2 seconds early.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
I
it
see.
started when the countdown was on like 2 or something, or 1.
Okay.
Easy wins. Jack is on PB pace. That's Pog.
Yeah. As mentioned, Jack definitely isn't playing badly. It's just because he is one of the newer players. His execution definitely isn't as refined. As he's still learning, but this is definitely a good run for him. Definitely played much better than how game 1 went. So we'll see how Bowser goes this time for him. I'm gonna go and update the results here of this race while we watch Jack fight Bowser.
He's doing it. Look, he hit him once.
Yeah, that's the first hit.
And he spot the crazy mate in 47. 47 weird.
Oh, he misses the clown car on hit number 2. Looks like he might be out of contention for sub 30 Yeah, he's definitely out of contention for sub 32. That's unfortunate. Oh, misses the clown car for number 3.
My controller is stuck with up. Up is the button it always presses.
Okay,
So it
Jack
makes
coming
me
in with a
confused.
32-24. I think that's about where game 1 went for him. But either way, GG's to Jack, and yeah, GG's to Jack, and he will be with that 2-0 sweep from Lachurs. That is going to put Jack down in the second chance bracket, where he will be facing against Chili Man.
Thank you.
What? Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see if I can get Jack in here. Oh, okay. So it looks like Jack is gonna pass on the interview because his headphones are dead. So yeah, with that is the matchup of Lachurs versus Jack. Lachurs getting a clean 2-0 sweep on Jack, and he will be moving on to round 3, where he'll be facing off the winner of Super 64 Guy versus Frisky. And meanwhile, Jack still has another chance in the tournament, where he will be on the second chance round 2, where he'll be facing he'll be facing Chili Man, who lost to DCA with a 2-0 sweep. So both these runners here between Jack and Chili Man both got sweep 2-0, but Jack does have one win on him from winning his set against Lugia. We'll see how that matchup goes. And with that, I think that's it for us. Thanks for watching this race. GG's to Lachurs, and well done on Jack on both of his runs. He played well for both races. Just unfortunately could not match Lachurs. And yeah, so thanks for watching. And I've been M38, and I will be signing off, where we have more speed gaming events coming your way. I believe I'm gonna go and pull up the schedule right now. Hold on. I'm gonna pull up the schedule right now. So coming up later today, we have a tournament, at least on this channel, we have the Super Mario Galaxy 2 tourney race, where we have, in the next matchup of the Super Mario Galaxy 2 tournament, we have Rox versus Samuel JH. Gonna be very exciting. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is a very crazy speedrun, so definitely tune in for that if you really like Mario games. And then over at Speed Gaming number 1, I believe Yeah, one. We have the third season of the Link to the Past randomizer coming up, and as well as Final Fantasy randomizer for Speed Gaming 3, and that is all of Speed Gaming coming up for the rest of today, and then coming up tomorrow for as far as New Super Luigi is concerned is myself versus Navadra. So we have lots of good action coming up here on Speed Gaming, so definitely stay tuned. And with that, thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you guys later today for Super Mario Galaxy 2.